Dr. Idz, thank you for joining us. I don't want to waste too much of your time here. There
How's it
is
going, my friend?
there is a little bit of we have a little bit of some hard questions for you, Idz.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course, I'm ready.
Okay. Now everybody's talking. Dr. Idz is now sponsored by the ABA. Is that correct?
It's well, yes, first of all, it's true, but it's a short-term 3-month contract that ends probably in about a month and a half. And the reason they approached me is because they've seen the dozens of videos I've done on artificial sweeteners, stating the evidence, showing they're safe, and they knew that the WHO and IARC were going to convene during the summer. So they wanted, medical professionals, healthcare professionals who understand the data to basically remind people that the data does show that aspartame is safe. And that is what it does show. And actually, the WHO research arm called JECFA, which are the Food Additives Research Arm, they just concluded that it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what everyone expected.
So, so what is their requirements on you as part of the sponsorship deal? What do they require of you? If you're
So it's a
comfortable
number.
discussing, you don't have to.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a number of videos. I think two a month for a couple of months. And basically, it's pretty open. There's no requirements. It's just they like the style of my videos. They like how I interpret the data,
So
and
are
they
are
offer.
they saying specifically do two videos about artificial sweeteners that are that with the focus on them being safe for consumption?
So the whole summer campaign they're running is to show that artificial sweeteners are safe, in particular, aspartame. So
Okay.
they launched a new website called safetyofaspartame.com. And as you can see there, it lays out all of the evidence, all of the individual research studies. They go through over 100 of them. They go through all of the health institutes from across the world, the European Food Safety Authority, JECFA, the FDA, Australia, New Zealand, all of the major health institutes from across the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of their statements showing that it's safe. So basically, they're running a campaign because they know that some of these ridiculous headlines are going to come out and cause mass confusion amongst people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So they basically said, look, you've done a really good job so far of reiterating the science. So we want you to continue doing that. And I was like, right, you're going to pay me to repeat what I've been saying for years. That's fantastic. That's great.
Are you afraid that the perception of it will tarnish your credibility, even the perception of being paid by a lobbying group?
Sure, it could to those who are non-critical thinkers. Sure, people that love conspiracies,
Well,
people
I
that
don't
don't
think
really.
that's fair to wipe everybody
Why is
off.
that?
Well, well, I think it's logical to at this point to assume, hey, you know, if this guy's being paid by a lobbying group, I don't think you have to be a non-critical thinker to say, well, that warrants a second thought.
Well, if you're not aware that I've been saying this for years,
Yeah,
then yes. But anyone who knows my content, they've seen the 15, 20 videos prior to me being sponsored anyway.
right,
So there's evidence of years backlog of publicly viewed videos where I say the exact same thing. My
right.
stance hasn't changed at all. If my stance did change and I all of a sudden, let's say I was paid by some kind of sugar manufacturer or something, and they wanted me to say, look, we want you to say that artificial sweeteners are harmful, so more people come back towards the full sugar drinks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I all of a sudden did a 180 and I was being paid, then yeah, of course, that would, even myself, if I saw another doctor saying that, I would be like,
Right.
yeah, okay.
It's not as obvious as that. It's a little more subtle, right? Um, but I like you said, you've been doing this for a long time, so your message hasn't changed, right? But I do
Exactly.
think my fear is that there are people
Mhm.
like Love, not to,
Sure.
but he is
No, yeah.
still skeptical, and
Yeah.
he is critical. He does critically think that will look at this and say, "Hmm, I knew it. There is something going on here with this guy.
Sure. And you would have a case if I was going against the scientific consensus. But
Right.
actually, you look at every major health institute from across the world, independent or otherwise, they all have my stance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to be skeptical of me, then you need to provide an argument which nullifies all of the leading health experts from across the world in all different countries, not America. I'm not even talking about the FDA. I'm talking about Europe, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, all the other major health countries.
What are you drinking there? I noticed you switched it up. You got red drink now.
We run out of yellow.
Oh, no.
I've got summer fruits cranberry now.
Summer fruits cranberry, everybody.
Yeah.
What's the name of the organization? Or there's a journal you said is like the most credible that doesn't have bias. Which one was that?
There's a lot of them, but one of the leading examples is the Journal of the American Medical Association.
Okay.
And the New England Journal of Medicine. That's a UK
There you go.
medical journal.
Yeah.
Do they have no bias?
Oh, say again?
So your claim is that these journals have no bias.
No.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no research paper in the world that can ever have no bias. Even if it's not funded, a researcher can always have an internal bias where, they might be inclined to, maybe run a number of statistical tests that might be favorable for them, or design the trial that might be favorable for them. No one can ever say there's no bias.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the methodology and the stipulations these prestigious journals have in place makes it very hard for these things to get through.
Mm-hmm.
So even if a researcher tries really hard to push something through, there's so many steps before that. You have to pre-register the study. You have to tell them how you're going to conduct the study. You have to have an independent statistician. You have to have an independent data handler. It then has to be peer-reviewed by colleagues who have nothing to do with you, right? And believe me, colleagues in the research space, they can quickly see very easily if someone's trying to manipulate something. So there's loads of barriers in place.
So just for those listening, here's an excerpt. The Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, strives to maintain objectivity and avoid bias in its publications. However, it is important to recognize that bias still exists in any scientific journal. Bias can arise from various sources, such as authors, reviewers, editors, and even funding sources. But to mitigate potential bias, JAMA follows a rigorous peer review process where experts in the field evaluate the scientific merit and validity of submitted articles. The process helps to identify and address any potential bias or methodological flaws in the research. So,
So, can I ask a follow-up question?
Oh, absolutely.
Bias in research, they have very firm kind of anti-measures, right? I'm curious, I'm assuming there's not as hard measures on like public information, like what kind of ads they're funding and stuff like that. Do you think
mean non-academic media?
Yeah, like your, I guess, like funding outside, like of promotion of research, like your TikTok, for example. Do you think there's a bias there, or could be?
Oh, yeah. There can be bias in any kind of outlet: headlines, media, advertisements, influencers, doctors. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, his video is not peer reviewed, if that's what you're asking.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a TikTok video.
Yeah.
Well, for example,
it's not,
go ahead.
It's not peer reviewed, but what I'm saying has been peer reviewed.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Right.
All right, Idz, I just want to check in on that. That was an interesting development in the story arc of Dr. Idz. He's now on the payroll of Big Soda.
Yeah, not for much longer. It's going to end soon. But yeah.
They better keep paying you, though. Otherwise, your opinions might change. You know what I mean? Switching to water here pretty soon.
If the data changes, which is pretty damn hard because we have 40 years worth of data. But let's say in 20 years' time, if I'm still on social media, if a dozen or 24 research studies come out suggesting that a specific type of sweetener causes harm, then of course I'll update my stance. But until then,
people have accused you of poisoning the well. Well, I'm here to say sugar-free and poison-free well of Dr. Idz enjoying a fine Coke Zero. Well, I'm here drinking a Coke Zero, so obviously I'm riding with you still.
Well, you'll be riding with every major health institute across the world. So
That's it. And that's who I ride with. That's my crew.
that's me too. I'm not gonna say anything that isn't the scientific consensus,
There it is.
unlike these carnivore flops.
All right, Dr. Idz, thanks again for the call on short notice. Always appreciate it.
Of course, my friend. Hope everyone's well.
And I'm glad you're getting paid. What are we talking? 6 figures or less?
I'm not comfortable saying.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a substantial amount, which, dwarfs what UK doctors are paid, which is
Wow.
great.
So good. Then you know what I mean? Fuck yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, UK doctors are only paid like £14 an hour. So
Huh? Wait, UK
14.
doctors don't make money?
we don't make money at all. There's
UK doctors are poor?
thousands of doctors are striking right now.
Wait, what? But how do they afford to go to medical school and all that shit?
They take loans.
And then they pay it back at £14 an hour?
Well, like 10% gets taken out of the salary every month. So actually, a lot of doctors who are newly qualified, they'll be taking home something like £1,800 a month.
Wait.
48
Wait,
hours
what?
worth of work.
What?
Yeah, a week. UK doctors make nothing. We make nothing here.
What? That's hard. It's so the opposite of here in America.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well,
Doctors are
that's
like elite fucking, bourgeoisie, right?
Yeah. The maximum, even after 20 years of training, becoming a top consultant, becoming, spending all of your life rotating around different hospitals, becoming a super specialist, you'll only be on like 80,000, 90,000. That's when you're 50 years old.
That's pretty stunning. I'll say a lot of people, it's debated if doctors should get paid as much as they do here in America. But one thing that I don't think people talk about, which is really in favor of paying doctors a lot, is that they are less inclined to pursue other revenue options that might compromise them, or because there's a lot of ways that doctors can make money outside the practice to endorse stuff or talk about this and that. And if they're millionaires just by their profession, they're not going to be working with other companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And also, paying them fairly and adequately prevents them from leaving. The issue we have here in the UK, 1 in 3 doctors are planning to leave the NHS.
What the fuck?
We have 60,000 or more than something like 60,000 job vacancies, and we're really struggling.
Whoa, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's really bad.
That is interesting because the healthcare system here gets so much shit, but I think it's good that doctors are well compensated.
Yeah, it prevents
it's such
bias.
It's such an important profession.
Yeah. Well, you need to tell that to Rishi, the guy leading the UK right now.
Are there private doctors that are like compensated really well?
Yeah, private doctors they earn significantly more, but the issue is you have to be part of the NHS service before you become privatized. And also you need to still have your foot in the door of the NHS because they're the ones, the GMC is the people that run your license. They monitor your license. So they don't make it easy. Like if I wanted to go into private practice, I can't because I need to, go through a certain number of steps. I need to do a certain number of years. So they almost try to like.
I am a surgeon.
Sorry about that, Dr. It's
that was
very,
my bad. I
very
apologize.
unprofessional, Olivia.
So sorry.
I am a surgeon.
Ah! I got it.
But yeah, but seriously, like many people are leaving. I've got so many friends who've gone to
I
Australia.
can't believe that. That's. I'm sorry to hear that. I always assumed that you were just out there doing really well by your profession alone. That's horrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
My friend, we make nothing, pennies.
Well, good. Get that money, and you know what I mean. Let's drink that Coke. Get that money. Do that Coke with the money.
My rationale is, if I can get paid to carry on educating based on the strongest data, believe me, I'm going to get paid. Yeah, I've spent thousands of hours making free content. It's about time someone bloody paid me.
Absolutely.
Let's fucking go.
I'm with you, Dr. Idz, for Dr. Idz for ABA. All right. Thank you for calling. Very much appreciate it.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks,
All right,
love.
Doctor. See you later.
Thank you.
Take care.
Talk
Love
soon.
you.
Take care. Take care.
Did you guys know that? That kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, seems scary.
About their compensation.
Yeah, no, get that bag, Dr. Idz. I'm not gonna hate.
I mean, in the U.S., we still got to pay back. It's not that bad, of course, but student loans, it is a lot each year coming out of our salary once we start making money.
Yeah, I believe in this.
Are you still paying back loans?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How much you owe? Can I ask?
$60,000.
Damn, bro.
Damn.
And for how long were you in there?
I was in there for a while, like several years. So I switched from
You were
law
in-
to medicine.
You were in several years, and now you're working here? Fuck. Probably a smart decision, honestly.
Yeah.
60,000. All right, we'll get that down. We're gonna get that down.
Thank you. You've been a huge help so far.
Thank you. Yeah.
Joe Biden might be getting that down. I actually saw some news about that this morning. They're trying a different approach to the student debt
I thought that's
cancellation.
awesome. I was like, go get him, Joe.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. I like that he's not just completely backing down.
Somebody wrote the average NHS salary is $190,000 per year. That
doesn't conform with what I was.
No, that's
I
a
just
lot.
looked it up, and the median UK doctor's salary is £59,000 per year.
which the pound has really fell off. So pound Brexit has really been wonders for their currency. $77,000. I mean, listen, it's not terrible, but it's also not amazing. And I know England is also a very expensive place to live. I don't know. I mean, London's one of the most expensive places. Yeah, nurses make more than that in America. That's crazy. That seems really low for what they do. Someone said they're in $500,000 debt for dental school. Fuck, Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
But dentists get paid, so if you can last all the way through, you know what I mean?
Just look at Jimmy.
You could become Jimmy Lee.
You could be the next Jimmy Lee.
And if that's not encouraging, I don't know what is. All right,
all different flavors.
Let's get to the big moment at hand.
Mm-hmm.
We've